I'm Jared Polin, and I like movies.
I'm Todd Wolfe, and I make movies. And this is FroKnowsMovies. Oh, yeah.
Welcome to FroKnowsMovies again. I'm Jared Polin, this is Todd Wolfe, and I'm not introducing him yet, but FroKnowsMovies, we're just two guys. I like movies. Todd, what are you, by the way?
I'm a filmmaker some days, and I know just enough to be dangerous and just enough to talk shit.
Just enough?
Just enough.
Just the tip.
Just the tip.
So you're an independent filmmaker.
Sometimes.
Sometimes by day and an editor by night.
Both.
But you've been in the movie industry for quite a while.
I made a couple movies, little things. So, like I said, I know just enough to talk shit in an educated way.
All right, well, I hope so, because I'm not the type of guy that is fully educated on movies. I'm a guy who likes going to the movies, watching movies, sitting at home, renting movies, but I'm not gonna sit here and be like, the cinematic effect was so amazing, and the editing, oh, that editor was tremendously tremendous, and that's not my thing. I'm just a guy, I go to movies, I like them, I sometimes have girls over. The only problem when I have girls over when there's movies, the movie doesn't get watched.
Well, I mean, that's just because you're a pimp, that's all, but...
Yeah, big pimping, you know.
It is what it is.
When you walk into here, it's like, oh, snap. So I was at the movies the other day.
Okay.
And you know how you have to get, do you like popcorn at the movies?
A little bit of popcorn. I also love the pretzels, with the
right?
cheese.
Well, I don't eat the cheese.
Of course you don't.
I don't like the cheese. And by the way, so I went with this girl, and she's keeping track of calories, and she looks up on her phone on this app. She goes, I wonder if they have pretzel bites in here.
Of course they do.
They have pretzel bites. 35 calories a pretzel bite. That doesn't count
each
if you
one.
Dip it.
Each one.
Right. If you dip it, I would add at least 15 more calories. That's a lot of calories.
It's intense, yeah.
Well, that is a lot of calories. But then, anyway, that's beside the point. I also picked up, I'm a movie watcher club, and this is a nondescript thing of what's this called? Soda. Right? So this is a small, but because I'm part of the Movie Watchers Club...
This is a small?
Well, they automatically upgrade you when you're part of the Movie Watchers Club to a medium. I drank this much of it. That would be 1/10. Because my problem is, I have this thing about peeing at movies. I could sit at home and watch a movie and not ever have to pee, but when I go to the movie theater, I'm always fighting this urge that I have to pee. Is that like a prostate thing in the seat that it like vibrates?
I will go to the bathroom right before the movie starts.
Twice. No, I may even go 3 times.
I'll squeeze out whatever I got right before the movie rolls. Never fails. Always have to go in the middle of it.
But I won't get up. I would and it kind of detracts from the movie because I'm all like, oh, I gotta pee, I gotta pee.
Do you ever have a little trickle out?
No.
No?
No trickle out.
By the way, worst art direction ever with these big slabs of gaff tape on it.
What's wrong with the gaff tape?
But bravo. Well, you're supposed to be a little more artistic about it. Maybe cut it out in the bottom. But great job.
I didn't want any issues there. But so thank you, Todd. Well, welcome to FroKnowsMovies. This is what it is. It's not, let's see, what would I call it? It's like a movie show, but there's a podcast element to it. So if you want to go to iTunes, FroKnowsMovies, download the audio portion. You won't get to see the fun visuals that we have that Todd's going to be cutting in there, but you will get to take part and listen to something in the car. But definitely subscribe here on YouTube, because when we put these up, if it's once a week, it's once a week, and if we put up extra videos, you'll definitely get to check those out. So first things first, coming up in the theaters June 30th, we've got A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Now this segment, what are we going to call this segment? We're going to call this Coming Soon.
Coming soon.
This is coming soon. It's coming soon.
All right, so coming soon, you have A Million Ways to Die in the West. We watched the trailer. It's running up there on the screen right now. What are your first thoughts?
Why are you throwing me under the bus first?
Do you want me to go first?
All right, I'll tell you what I think. So, have you seen Blazing Saddles?
Yeah, Blazing Saddles, one of the most hilarious movies in the history of all movies.
So, I mean, my first thought was Blazing Saddles, all right? And, you know, decent movie. I know people that love it. I think it's funny.
I have it on Laserdisc, by the way.
It's not... Do you really?
Yes, I do.
Really? Wow. Not my favorite movie, but okay. Seth MacFarlane, to me, great voice actor. I just don't buy him on screen. And as I watch it, I'm a little confused when I watch the trailer because their dialogue and their delivery is so modern that it doesn't feel Old West at all. It definitely feels a little Marty McFly.
Wow, you look amazing.
I really love that the most alluring fashion today is to simulate a fat ass.
If I was a black guy, this is the meanest trick you could play on me.
There was a trailer I saw, I think it was in the theaters, when I went and saw the movie that we're talking about later, where he goes into a barn, and there is Doc Brown trying not to cut, he's there with the DeLorean.
So maybe there's something we don't know.
Maybe there's something we don't know, but so what do you think? Is this some movie you're gonna go see?
Based on the trailer, as I see it right now, I'm so confused as to the way the characters act. Like they seem like they're modern people in the Old West, but they're not. There's no backstory to that. So to me, it just looks stupid. Like it just seems it seems like really bottom of the barrel jokes, which I'm fine with. I love a good dick joke. I love a good dick joke.
People literally die from their own farts.
Ouch! That came out of my penis!
I'm really leaning towards I'm not too excited to see it.
Well, I'm absolutely not excited to see this movie whatsoever. Okay. Let me just tell you that because I saw Ted. Now, Ted had the most fantastic ever trailer. The Red Band trailer for that was the best thing I've ever seen when it came to trailers for coming soon. And then I went and saw it with my dad. And my dad likes funny movies, but he doesn't like stupid funny. Now, Ted has done over $500 million worldwide.
What'd your dad think?
He wanted to walk out in the first 20 minutes.
Did he?
And I wanted to walk out in the first 20 minutes. Because I don't like toilet humor that much. I think I like smart comedies more than anything. And people look at me and they go, well, Ted was so hilarious. Well, maybe you need to be drunk and or high to go see that movie. Because I even gave it a chance when I was sitting here at home when it came on to HBO.
Okay.
I tried to watch it, and then when Mila Kunis is like, somebody shit on the floor, I was like, that's not funny.
Well, it's the same type of humor then. I feel like it's the same type of humor. And I think I'm probably in the same boat with you. I love comedies. But I think I like them a little bit smarter. Like, I love Superbad. And you know what?
Superbad's so good.
I'll give you the biggest benchmark for me. Will I buy it? Like, if I walk out of the theater like, man, I love that. I want to buy it. And I want to get it on Blu-ray because I want to see the extras. Like, I want everything about it.
Right.
I watched Ted. I was like, and I didn't go see it in the theater. I waited to watch it at home. And I was like, that was cool. I didn't feel like I wasted my life on it, but it was cool.
And like I said, the trailer was great. But anyway, back to A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Yes.
Watching that trailer, I look at it, and I don't... Trying very hard to make funny jokes. The shooting of the bottles was kind of cute. I thought that was funny. He walks up to the bottle, he shoots it, then he knocks it over.
Yeah.
But the way that the photographer catches on fire, and in the other trailer I saw, they start shooting people, and they're like, "Oh, people die at the people die in the West every day."
And you know what? He shows Family Guy.
Family Guy. He also produced Cosmos, which is unbelievable. That's a science show.
The way this just struck me. Looking at the trailer, almost feels the same way, the same tempo, the same humor, the same setup and payoff as Family Guy. Like it's almost like cartoonish, which the Family Guy audience may be like, this is exactly what I love about Family Guy, and I want to watch Seth MacFarlane do it for real in real life.
Yeah, well, so
I'm gonna have to wait and see, but I'm not positive.
I think it's going to do tremendously well.
I think it'll do okay.
Because Ted was one of his first movies. Was that the first movie that he did?
I think that's one of his first ones that he produced and wrote and all that stuff.
And was the bear for. And then I think they're going to make a Ted 2.
Yeah, no, they're definitely doing a Ted 2.
When you do $500 million, do you know how much money? Because part of doing this is I want to know the business side of it. Because you have more of an insight into the business.
If you make a profit, and there's enough of a buzz on it, they're going to make a part 2. I mean, your movie could be $1 million, and if you made 10, 20 million off of it and people really liked it and there's a little bit of a following,
that's a lot of money.
No brainer.
I mean, talk about a return on your investment.
Yes.
Because a movie like Ted, I didn't look up how much that movie cost to make, but if I had to guess, I wouldn't say more than 50 million. I mean, they advertised the crap out of it.
Yeah.
So even if it cost them 100 million to do that movie, even if it was 100 million, and they turned 520-some million dollars, oh my God.
That ain't bad.
That's money.
That ain't bad.
All right, so coming up, let's get into the home flick.
Home flick.
Home flick.
I mean, basically anything that you can watch at home. iTunes, whether you buy it on iTunes or you rent it from on demand or it's Netflix, just where I like to watch all my movies is on my couch, nice and quiet. I never have to go to the bathroom when I'm sitting at home for some reason.
But your dog does.
Yeah, my dog always has to take a piss. But yeah, this is what these home flicks are. Anything you can kind of watch from home.
All right, so let's talk about the home flick right here. So this week's home flick is Her. Now, Todd, Her was this critically acclaimed movie.
Definitely.
Did it even find its way into the theaters for that long? Did it ever really hit the theaters other than the artsy places?
Well, I was going to say it was limited theatrical, art houses, and probably major markets and things like that. But yeah, no, it did its thing. Spike Jonze wrote, directed. I mean, it's interesting premise, and I didn't see it at the festival circuit. I didn't see it at the art houses. I watched it at home on the couch.
Well, funny thing about that is I didn't watch it at home. I watched it on an airplane on the way home from Israel, which they had a ton of movies, which was great on US Air. They had all first-run movies. So happened to be every movie that I rented, they had. But I'd rather have that than sit there and be twiddling my thumbs talking about
How long of a flight
nothing.
was that?
12 hours. I watched 4 movies across the 2 flights. I slept a little bit, but anyway, Her. Let's tell you about Her. So it's set in the not-too-distant future. And when I rewatched it, because I watched it twice, I watched it with a girl, a different girl this time.
Okay.
And I was like, well, let's try to figure out what year it is. Because I don't think I saw anything that gives away the year. So it takes place in the not-too-distant future where people have these computers in their ear. Just think of Google Glass, except it's like Google Ears.
It's Siri.
Well, it's like Siri in your ear.
Yeah.
So the premise is Joaquin Phoenix,
Yep.
who I guess decided not to live that role where he had the beard and that other thing that he was doing for a couple of years.
Oh, well, that was his thing.
That was just his shtick. And he falls in love with his operating system. And Scarlett Johansson plays the operating system voice. And it's an interesting premise. And when I watched this movie on the plane, I was excited to watch it.
Yep.
I actually paid $14.99 for it because it wasn't rental yet.
Wow.
You could buy it on iTunes. And
So you
then-
own it.
So I own it. I own that standard definition, which, by the way, I think it's a racket, the standard versus HD, that they charge $5 more because I watched it on my 60-inch TV, projecting it from my iPad to my Apple TV, and there was no problem with quality. None whatsoever. Anyway, so I was really excited to watch. That's why I bought it. But then it was on the plane, too, on the way home. So I'm sitting there, and I'm watching this thing, and I'm like, this is smart. It starts off so well, and it pans. The cinematography, Todd, is just tremendous. But no,
It's smart. It's really smart.
It is a very smart movie. There's funny quips to it. I think he does a tremendous job, Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, without a doubt.
The actors in it, there's not a lot of actors. I mean, he carries the movie, and Scarlett Johansson carries the movie.
Yep. Amy Adams is in it.
Amy Adams, she's great. And you may think that something like this would be so far-fetched, but it is very realistic to what I think the not-too-distant future. If you had to guess, how many years down the road would you call it?
I mean, you could call it 10, 20. I mean, nothing outrageous.
I put it somewhere around 12 to 15 years.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
It just felt like, I mean, there weren't flying cars,
No.
and there weren't things like that, but the technology and the
No
buildings-
hoverboards.
No
No
hoverboards,
hoverboard.
which we still don't,
Which
unfortunately,
sucks.
have. We still want those.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed the movie, and the end does have a great payoff.
Yeah.
I think it gets there. I didn't have to pee. I was on the airplane, and I didn't have to pee.
That's good.
Maybe it had something to do with the 37,000 feet.
Yeah, no, I thought the art direction was fantastic. It had an aesthetic about it that really made it feel like futuristic, but it didn't feel like it was
Science fiction.
It didn't feel like Marty McFly with the adjustable coat. It felt like, oh yeah, they had the high water pants and all that stuff. But I mean,
Well,
but
that's
it's realistic.
Well, you look for it. That's probably like if it's 20 years down the road, that means it's the 90s.
Yeah, it's
all
hipster
over again.
4.0 or whatever it is.
That's what happens. Is 30 years, everything comes back.
No, I thought it was really interesting from that aspect. But I mean, if you think about the movie at its core, it's really just a lost love story.
A guy looking
I
for
mean,
love.
you literally could take any movie almost from the last 100 years, little love story, love triangle story from the 30s, change the girl for an operating system, and that's the movie. But
No spoilers.
But the actual interesting part is the fact that it's this operating system relationship.
It's kind of it felt real, and that's what I liked about it. And let me ask you: was this an original screenplay idea, or was it adapted from something?
No, he won an award for that. He won
Best Original Screenplay.
Yeah.
He won one of these things.
Yeah, that one. I think it's that one specifically.
Hi, I'd like to accept this award on the behalf of Spike Jonze, who I always thought was black. No offense.
Just because his name's Spike?
Because
How many black guys do you name no name Spike?
Spike Lee. The other one. But Spike Jonze. I mean, it's Spike Jonze. Mike Jones.
Yes,
Spike
Mike. That's a Spike Jonze did like the Beastie Boys stuff.
Well, another reason why you would think that a white guy in rap like you. What was your rap name?
I'm not telling you.
You come. Everybody wants to know your rap
Episode
name.
10.
Episode 10. You're going to give your rap name?
No, Spike Jonze. Back to him trying to deflect off the rap name. I thought it was great, but story-wise, I don't know if there were any surprises necessarily.
So from your scientific expertise, you think it was pretty straight?
It was pretty straightforward, yeah. But I think the premise of the operating system being a character unto itself in the movie and how it all pans out is really, really interesting and really forward-thinking.
Well, the forward-thinking I loved. But here's one thing that I did get about Scarlett Johansson. This was early in the movie. It felt like, hey, here, show up, read some lines, and we'll cut that into the movie, and she's not interacting with him.
I don't think I don't know for sure, but I would say she's in the room.
You think that they were in the room together interacting? Yes. It didn't feel like that to me.
I think she's probably in the room. I really do. And don't get me wrong, was there ADR after the fact to fix some lines? Maybe.
Yeah.
But I definitely think you need that human interaction
To make it real.
to make it work. Because otherwise there's no emotion. Like, he can't pretend like some.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, she'd have to be there to emote a little bit.
Yeah.
So I don't know for sure, but I'm 99% sure that she was probably in the room for most of that.
All right, so this movie, Her, is available on demand. I rented it on iTunes, I think.
I'd recommend it. I would definitely recommend it.
Let me ask you, we don't have a rating system. We haven't come out of 1,000. What would you give the movie?
Out of 1,000?
Well, you know, it's the same as 1 through 10 and 100. Let's make it 1,000.
That's too much math. Let's just make it 10.
Okay, and then I'll extrapolate it out.
All right, you can do that.
Out of 10, what do you think?
I'll give it an 8.
So you give it 800 out of 1,000.
800 seems a lot. That really seems like a lot.
But it's 1,000. It's the same percentages. We're playing the percentages here. So you give it an 8 out of 10?
Yeah, I think so. I really enjoyed it. Maybe even an 8.5, just because it was so forward-thinking. The art direction was amazing. It's beautiful to watch.
Sure.
Yeah, 8.5.
All right, so what do I think? I'm going to go with an 8.723, a little bit more than Todd, because I enjoyed this movie. It made me smile. The ending brought it all together for me, and I really liked the resolution. And I sound like a fucking director or somebody saying...
You do.
The resolution. What have I been watching?
You really
too much
sound
TV?
pretentious. You're like a pretentious movie watcher.
I'm a pretentious movie watcher, everybody. I'm really not. But so it's available on demand. You can get it on iTunes. You can get it on your Comcast, your whatever TV service you have.
Available everywhere.
$4.99, worth a watch. Sit down with a girl, watch it yourself, because watch it yourself, because then you'll feel like Joaquin Phoenix in the movie.
I like where your head's at.
like
I watched it dolo. I watched it.
You did?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think it's time to move into the first movie that we saw at the theater, because that's what this stuff is about. It's about us going to the theater. It's about us sitting at home. And in this case,
So what's this section going to be called?
I don't even remember. What's it called?
I don't know if we have a name for it.
I don't know if we came up.
In theaters. In theaters.
In theaters. Very good idea, Todd. In theaters now.
Coincidentally, the movies are in theaters now.
So what we're going to try to do each week is go and see a movie that's in the theaters and then talk about it. And in this case...
Never been done before.
Nobody's ever done
Never
this.
been done before. Groundbreaking stuff we're doing here.
Extremely. You're right. We broke the ground right before we started this. But we chose to go see the movie Neighbors. Now, you've got Seth Rogen...
I like Seth Rogen, though. I love Seth Rogen.
And I was going to say, as part of the critique, I was going to be like, I want him to do a serious movie. But then I was like, He did. He did 50-50.
Yeah.
He did that other one with Adam Sandler that was the same exact
Funny
movie
People?
as 50-50. Yeah. Funny People and 50-50 are the same.
Funny
movies.
People I really liked.
Yeah,
Really
they were good. So anyway, you've got what's his name, Seth Rogen. Yep. You've got Zac Efron. You've got some girl, and really it's not McLovin's in it for some reason.
Yeah, he's got a big schlong.
He's got a big penis in that movie. No spoilers. I mean, that's not really a spoiler. So I guess should I throw it to you first? What you thought about this?
You threw it to me first for Million Ways to Die.
So you want me to take this one?
So you go under the bus first on this one.
All right, I'm going to take this one first. And I know my dad goes, what do you think of Neighbors? And the trailer's fine.
Did he walk out again?
He hated it. All right? So he went with a woman, and she revoked his privileges for the next 5 movies because she hated it so much.
He's not allowed to pick movies.
Not allowed to pick the next
Because
5.
they went to see Neighbors.
Because they went, and he didn't like. So my dad doesn't like stupid comedies.
All right.
And I personally don't like stupid comedies. Now Seth Rogen is funny.
Yeah.
He writes funny movies.
Yep.
He does a great job.
He does.
Now what this movie felt like, I'm going to say that I didn't particularly think it was the most hilarious thing in the world, like a lot of people. Now first off, $18 million it cost.
Yes.
Yep. That's what Box Office Mojo told me. It's done $119 million at this point.
That ain't bad.
So that means it's done something right.
Yep.
There's some funny lines in it. There really are some funny one-liners.
Absolutely.
But I felt that it wasn't there. It wasn't something that I would spend money to go see in the theater, and I probably shouldn't have seen it sober, and that would have probably made it more enjoyable. The girl that I went with, she hated it as well.
I had a drink before I went, and didn't really change much for me. So you want to know what I think?
I want to know what you think.
I liked it. I love comedies. I do enjoy Seth Rogen. I thought it was a good movie. I'm not going to buy it, but I did enjoy it.
Well, speaking of buying, let me interrupt you there.
Go ahead.
Speaking of buying, this is a type of movie that does $120 million in the first month.
Yep.
Which means they're going to put out the unrated DVD with the extras and the bonuses.
With all the extra
then
schlong and all that
Then they're going to
stuff.
sell the rights to the TV shows, and then they're going to do it.
No, that means there's going to be a Neighbors 2 out in 2016.
No Neighbors 2.
What?
Keep going. What else did you think?
All right, anyway. My big thing is, and I think you could take it from the trailers, you got the grown folks with the kid in one house, you got the frat house next door, and, you know, comedy ensues. I'm a grown man, and I actually used to live in an apartment with my wife in University City around all the colleges.
Yeah.
So I understand
Well,
being grown and having younger folks, and I even used to be younger folks. I used to live in an apartment, and there was a couple with a kid across the room, and then there'd be scents and noises, and they'd have to knock on the door. But
let me interrupt you.
Go.
Because why don't we reenact part of this?
let me break down first.
Okay, you break.
Let me break it down for you first. My big issue, I'll cut right to the chase. My biggest issue is it's really 2 separate stories. It's the frat guys and their relationship, and then you got the adults, Seth Rogen, his wife and kid, their relationship. And the way I felt like the trailer sold me is that it was more the wife, the Seth Rogen and the baby, and them battling. You know what I mean? Like you couldn't really. It felt like they were trying to do too much on both sides. Like if they would have just really banged down on the one relationship, the one struggle, and then you could have rooted for Seth and his wife to win, and that would have been more fulfilling. But instead, I kind of got another side story, another bromance story from the frat house.
Yeah.
And I felt like I think that took away from the potential charm that the film could have had. I mean, you're talking about a young man, his wife, and his child. There's a lot of potential for some heart and some charm there. And my favorite comedies always have just a little bit of heart, make me laugh most of the time, but might make me shed a little bit of a tear, might make me well up a little bit.
Sure.
That movie didn't. This movie didn't do that. Funny in some places, absolutely, without a doubt. If you saw the trailer, it's obviously funny. Probably not going to buy it though, but good movie.
All right, I want to reenact the scene. All right.
So you want to do a reenactment? So you want me to be Seth Rogen and you'll be?
Yeah, I'm going to be Zac Efron because Zac Efron, I think this movie was an excuse for him to sit there or stand there with his shirt off the whole time. And I got to say that if I was standing up, my abs would look better than his. My arms are so much better than his. And you know, he's coming off of rehab right now.
He is?
Well, he was in rehab for coke. He had a coke addiction. He got caught under the bridge with his security.
Oh, yes.
Remember that? He got caught under the bridge. Anyway, buying coke. Anyway, so this is the movie. You're gonna come to my door.
Sure.
I just moved in.
Okay. You just moved in. Oh, and I'm Seth. All right. So ready?
What's up?
What's up, bro?
What's up? I'm your. Wait, you're my neighbor, right?
Yeah, I'm your neighbor.
Oh, you're my neighbor. That's great. What are you doing?
I brought you some weed.
Oh, it's a token of your. Thank you.
It's a token of token.
Yeah, you're cool. You're cool. You want to come in?
Let's party.
Party?
Yeah.
What about your wife? Cause
she's coming too. She's right behind me.
Oh yeah. Hey, she's gonna be behind me later. That's right. She's kind of hot. And that pretty much is Neighbors. Come on. Yes, I know. But Zac Efron has his shirt.
I mean, that's the first 20 minutes. I'll give you that. Well, the shirt off. Yeah. I mean, I'll give you that. But yeah.
I mean, he looks all right. I mean, I'm a guy. I'm gonna say that. I mean, he looked okay, but
Franco's in it too. I think Franco's cool.
Who's Franco?
Franco, the young Franco.
Who's young
James
Franco?
Franco's brother is the other
that's
guy.
Who that guy was.
Yes.
Oh yeah, he's pretty funny.
He's funny. He was in 21 Jump Street.
Here, have your beer back. There was a funny one-liner that movies like this when you see trailers and you know that if the trailers are extremely stupid, that the movie is probably going to go that way because I'm typecasting the people. The majority of people there laughed at the things that you didn't laugh at because they weren't funny. So there was the line with and this isn't spoiling anything for you guys. The line, they're out back smoking weed during work, which is just so stupid. All those lines they're throwing out there. Oh, we're going to go do some.
Oh, Seth is, yeah.
Well, you're right. And his friend who's getting the divorce is like, so I just got on this new app. I just downloaded this thing called Grindr. And I was the only one in the theater that laughed because I knew what Grindr was. Not because I have Grindr or I've ever used Grindr. But then when he's like, I haven't seen a lot of women on there, but I'm going to find one. Because Grindr is a gay app. It's an app for gay people.
You've got your shirt off in the podcast.
Well, that people at home.
You're gonna tell me you're not on Grindr.
I am not on Grindr. My name is not hairy guy with a microphone taped to his chest. Find me on Grindr. I'm not on Grindr. No, really. So, if you had to give it a number out of 10, what would you give this movie?
I'm gonna give it a 7.
A 7?
Yeah, it was solid. I thought it tried to do too much. But keep in mind, I love comedies. I think it holds water.
So it's better than Ted, and
I think it was on par with Ted.
Okay, well, so I'm just gonna give it a number.
Okay,
5.47.
Woo! Why the 4.7 though?
It wasn't worth a 5. It was better than a 5.
Okay, all right.
But it wasn't as good as a 6.
Not as good as a 5.5.
No. 5.47. Okay. Look, and that's a little harsh. That's me being harsh. Look, it's an okay movie if you sat at home on a Friday night with somebody to distract you and you may have had a drink or two or some other substances. It may be enjoyable with the people you're watching it with. Theater-wise, $119 million ticket sold later worldwide. Yeah. People went to see it, which means it had good word of mouth.
Yeah, I think it's good.
But with movie tickets being $11.50.
Well.
And then buying this drink for $5 and popcorn being as much as it is, I don't think it's something that I would spend I only spent my money because I knew we were doing the podcast.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd tell anybody to run out and go see it. You've got to see this movie. I'd probably say wait, watch it at home.
Yeah, it's got a short tail on it. Short tail.
Yeah, I mean, it might be out of theaters soon enough. I mean, it's the summer's coming up. All the big movies are coming out, so.
So speaking of big movies, I'm going to put my shirt back on as Todd introduces.
Please.
Todd introduces what we're going to watch next week.
Please put your shirt on. We're going to see next week X-Men Second Class.
Future X-Men.
Days of Thunder.
Days of Future Past? The Chronicles of Smog.
No, X-Men The Days of Future Past, right? Is that right? Yeah.
Let me check. Yeah, I checked my notes. It's Days of Future Past. Now, it's a sequel.
To First Class.
To First Class.
Not Coach, because you don't want to see X-Men Coach. It's the worst.
What's X-Men Coach?
No leg room in the theater. I'll be here all week.
Oh, wow. Wait, that deserves this thing. Or maybe even the big one behind
Thank you. I made that up on the spot.
Good job. Very improv of you, Todd.
And yes, and.
So yes, and but no but. I went and I didn't see a bunch of X-Men. I think I saw the first X-Men.
I've seen them all. I've seen all the X-Men. I'm a bit of a nerd, so continue.
You told me that I needed to see, or I most likely should have seen
First Class.
First Class. Now, watching the trail, I watched the trailer for Seconds Past or Future Past.
Days of Thunder.
Days of Futures Past.
Yes.
And standalone, I thought that would be a great movie to go see.
Yeah.
So I rented, a rented home movie on iTunes. It was like $3.99. First Class.
Yep.
And that was enjoyable.
Really is.
Really is an enjoyable movie. So I am looking forward to seeing this movie next week. And my expectations are that it's going to be pretty good and it's done. But the one thing I don't understand, it's in 3D and then it's not in 3D. Does this movie need to be in 3D?
It definitely does if you want to spend an extra $5, $10.
$15.50.
No. I don't do 3D. It hurts my head. It hurts my mind.
$15.50 for a movie ticket.
I have 4 pairs of glasses for my television at home. I've worn them once because it makes my eyes hurt.
Well, looking at you, sometimes makes.
I'm super good.
Yeah, you're super good. So what do you think? You looking forward to this?
I am. I mean, first and foremost, comic book nerd, got boxes in my basement.
I own no comic books, never read a comic book in my life.
X-Men, I wasn't a big X-Men person, but I've seen all the X-Men films, and from what I understand from looking at the trailer, is that this one bridges the gap between First Class and the previous ones, because it looks like the older versions, like Jean-Luc Picard is in this one now, so it looks like the older versions and the younger versions are like meeting together. There's all kinds of time travel when it comes to comic books. So I think that's what's going down. I'm super curious to see what goes down on this.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be good. I really do. The First Class one was enjoyable to sit here and watch, which leads me to believe, and especially how well it's done in the theaters.
Yep.
It's already broken some box office records.
I'm sure.
Memorial Day, or it's come close to it, even with more expensive tickets. And Marvel, this is Marvel, right?
Yeah, yep.
They've done, the past 10 years, the past decade, they've really doubled, tripled, quadrupled down on making quality movies because the time is there. They can make these movies look realistic, and it just is part of this whole universe that they've created.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's going to be great. This is a Fox movie, I believe, and Marvel is owned by Disney now, but certain properties are owned by other studios, and they get to keep it as long as they make movies. So I don't know if we'll ever see like a Spider-Man. Even though it's Marvel, we may never see Spider-Man and Wolverine fighting unless Sony and Fox can make a deal.
Which would be, I think they'll work a deal.
I would
one
be
day.
there, I'd be first in line for something like that.
Well, I don't really care about it. Like Star Wars, I'll go see Star Wars.
Yeah, but you won't let me see Spider-Man and Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man and Hugh Jackman Wolverine.
Well, first off, Hugh Jackman. It's another reason for me to take my shirt off, but I won't do it right now.
Please keep your shirt on.
He is ripped.
Oh, he's the perfect Wolverine. I mean, he was born to play that part.
So he's probably banked quite a bit of money off of that movie.
And you know what? I've actually seen interviews of him, and he's a fan of that character. Like, he loves playing Wolverine. So, whether you love him or hate him or love the series, you got to respect the man for being that much of a fan of what he's doing. And I'm looking forward to it. I'll be there, and hopefully it ain't going to let me down. I think eventually we'll probably see A Million Ways to Die as well. So I'm very much looking forward to X-Men.
Well, would you take one for the team? And by the team, I mean everybody sitting at home and go...
For A Million Ways?
Oh, I don't even know if I would take it for the team, man. I don't know that I could do it.
I almost feel like we have to because here's the thing. I've definitely watched trailers that I've seen, and I'm like, that's going to blow. And then I get there with such low expectations. I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. I like that.
I don't know that this one could ever pull its way out of the dungeons of my heart.
What if there's time travel involved?
Well, I like time travel. I do.
What if there's a space-time continuum? He comes back in time and brings Ted with him, and Doc Brown's there, and the Family Guy's there.
I don't think anything could rescue it.
And then they punches a horse like Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles. Go watch Blazing Saddles. We'll just call that the classic flick. The classic flick of the week. Yes. Go watch yourself some Blazing Saddles. So I think we should wrap this up.
Yeah.
Good first week. Don't forget to subscribe here on YouTube to be notified when we come out with new episodes or new trailers or new something. So we're still figuring out what the hell we're going to do with it all. If you want to listen to it as a podcast in the car because you kind of don't need to see anything, or you're blind,
or you don't want to see Jared with his shirt off,
or you don't want to see me with my shirt off, you can always go ahead and download it on iTunes because it is the podcast style. But this is a visual show because it's movies.
Yep.
Recap, we don't need a recap. You can rewatch it if you need a recap.
No.
And that's it. So our job, we're going to go see X-Men of Future Past.
And I also would say if people want us to watch something that maybe we can do in our at-home segment, if they've got a suggestion of something really good that we should check out.
Sure. Yeah, that's where I was actually going to go with that.
My bad, I stepped all over your toes.
You did step on my toes just a little bit. They're not that big. My feet aren't that big anyway.
Psychic.
So
X-Men.
Well, what I was going to say...
Professor X.
Exactly. Let us know what you think of the movies. Are we totally off base? Am I just a dick when it comes to comedies?
Yes.
Yes, I'm a dick on those type of movies. Yes, I like girly. I'm a chick flick.
You're a romantic comedy guy.
I love rom-coms.
I'd probably put that out there first and foremost.
I love romantic comedies, and we'll talk more about that in the future.
Do you want to go see Blended?
Absolutely not. Adam Sandler has not earned a dime of my money at all. But that's for another day.
Not even Happy Gilmore, none of that.
Yeah, maybe 20 years ago. 20 years ago when it was funny.
We're gonna have to revisit that.
We'll revisit that. But I did see Spanglish and I liked it.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
All right. So if there's movies you'd like us to see, and leave us comments. If you think we're off base or you agree with us or you've seen these movies, let us know what you think. What do you think's going to be with A Million Ways to Die in the West? Are you going to see it? Are you not going to see it? And we're going to call it a day here on the Froknows Movies. I owe Todd some money. We didn't even say we were going to do that because I'm not even supposed to mention that. Can you bleep Froknows? When we do that, we need to bleep it.
Bleep what?
The P word. This is Froknows Movies, darn it.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you for watching Froknows Movies. Hit the subscribe button, and we'll be back for more whenever we decide to do more. Good show. We'll catch you later.
Nux, like that. We do this is what we're doing now?
This is Todd Wolfe. I'm Jared Polin, and the producer of the show has been Mr. Steven Eckert, and we'll catch you later on the flip side, reel to reel, coming soon.
Can I do it?
What are you going to do?
FroKnowsMovies.
I haven't come up with a slogan.
.com.
And we're out. Roll credits.
NC.
And cut. I wish that they would have a direct link of all the new movies in the theaters to my house so I can watch them at my own leisure.
Here's a question for you then. All right, so let's say they did that. X-Men. The new X-Men movie, we could watch it at home. And it's
$25?
$49.99 to watch a first-run movie at your house. $49.99. Now keep in mind, if you have a date, 2 tickets, popcorn with a hole in the bottom, a large drink.
I've never done the hole in the
Mike and Ike's, all that. That's gonna be $50. So would you rather?
You gotta take her to dinner.
That's what I'm saying.
Chick-fil-A.
Would you rather do $50? Would you do $50 at home for the first week? Would you do it?
I would get a group of people together, I think. But then I have trouble getting people together because if I had people, I'd go to the movies. So I don't. $49.99.
No, you wouldn't. I mean, it'd be a date. I mean.
For a girl, would I spend $50 to watch a first-run movie here, or actually go where it's going to cost me $14 a ticket? That's $28 plus $5 at least for travel.
Parking, yeah, gas.
Parking is free where I go.
All that stuff.
I mean, we live in the city, but I don't go to the movies. I actually drive a half an hour to go to the movies.
All kinds of costs when you go out to do all that stuff. Oh, babysitters. I mean, if you got a babysitter, all that stuff.
So maybe $49.99 that's an idea. So I would consider it, depending on the movie, definitely not for Neighbors, but maybe for X-Men Future Past of the second showing of...
There was something you really wanted to watch and you didn't want to leave the house. You wanted to just watch it with your shirt off.
That's a good idea. Shirt off, pants off. What do you guys think? Would you spend $49.99 to watch a first-run movie at home,
What about $99.99?
I would not spend $99.99.
What if we got Steven and the other Steven and all their hipster friends and they pitched in $5 from their couch?
Or what I could do is charge them extra for the popcorn that I make myself.
Nice.
And I could overcharge them for everything.
Buy them beer too, because they're probably not even 21.
They're not 21. We do not advocate underage drinking.
No.